Well, folks, it's finally happened. The Dolphins have won a game. I can't believe it. 26-18 at home against the New York Jets. We have finally won a game, guys. 1-7. I spent the last hour thinking, how am I going to do a recap? I've never done a recap when we've won a game. So how do I do this? But let's take a few minutes and have some fun. How does that sound? Sports Snippets, Sunday, the 3rd of November. So glad to be here with you. Sunday night. We're going to talk about this Dolphin win. Once again, 26-18 over the New York Jets. We will go over keys, things that I thought enabled us to win this game, and other things as well. And of course, we're going to go to the snippets board. We're going to do the top 5 points, and we'll just go through it and have some fun, guys, because we finally got a win. Whew. I'm technically sweating after that game. I think I'm still sweating after watching that game. All right, so let's go over, point number 1 is Dolphins win. This does a lot, guys. Does a lot to the morale of the team, the unproven guys. I mean, that roster is definitely filled with some players who are working hard. We're just not winning games. They're trying to make names for themselves. So this win, it does a lot more for the team than just put a win in the column. I mean, it helps the team just progress, go through now the second half of the season, because that is a 16-game season, so that does mark our 8th game with the win at home. And I'm glad they got that. I'm glad we played that game at 1 o'clock, because right around 5:30 or so in South Florida, at least where I am, the skies opened up, and it's still raining out there. So it was a little bit of a light rain on and off throughout the game, but good hour and a half or so after the game, it really rained, and I believe is still raining outside. Okay, so it was a slow start for us. Jets jump out to a 7-0 lead, and then it was funny from that point, being down in the first quarter 7-0, eventually we do tie the game. But once we were down 7-0, we did something happened. We just kind of turned on, like a light went on, and we played a pretty good game. I mean, considering all the concerns and the not so good plays as well, shall we call them. But let's get into a little bit more of the breakdown too. Jets, I mean, there's obviously some concern there if you're a Jet fan. I don't follow that team closely. I saw some things, though, that would make me concerned if I were a Jet fan. They also fall to a record of 1-7. We do have to play them again up in New York. Of course, that game can go either way. Any of our games can go either way at this point. I'm just glad that we finally got a win, guys. That's all. Whether I break it down well enough in the next few minutes, I'll let you decide. I'm just glad we won. That's all. Point number 2, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, the guy was the difference today on the field from what I saw. He was the difference, especially in that first half. The first half, it was a Fitzpatrick clinic, throwing the ball down the field, hitting his receivers. It was great to watch. He just fell short of 300 yards. He checks in at 288 yards for the game, 24 of 36, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Solid performance, if not very good performance for Ryan Fitzpatrick. This guy does make the difference on our team. And remember, he's played for many teams, but I say that in a complimentary fashion. He's been good enough to start for a number of teams. Never played in a Super Bowl. Never, to my knowledge, had any big playoff wins. He may have won a playoff game. That part I can't say for sure. I know he's never played in a Super Bowl. That's that I know. But he's a good quarterback still. So even the announcers are saying, you might get a good couple more years out of this guy. Turns 37 this year. So one of the announcers said they think he could play till 40. I mean, that's a pretty good run for a professional football player. We'll see about that part. But he played fantastic. He was sacked 4 times, but I think in part that was because he was looking long. I mean, he was looking to establish things and move that ball down the field quickly. So he did take a few extra sacks due to that reason, and Jets get some credit to putting some pressure on him as well. Running game wasn't that great. Running game wasn't that great. For the second straight game, I didn't really see many holes being opened. Mr. Mark Walton, 12 carries, 29 yards. It's only going to get you about 2.5, not even. Checked in around 2.4 yards a carry. That's really not going to, it's just not going to get it done, guys. But you know what? We didn't really run too much. I mean, 12 carries is not much, and we had a few other carries, and that was pretty much it. So, Walton is progressing. He's getting used to his role. This is a new role for him. And look for better things from the running game. Let's get into the Fitzpatrick receiving core. Breakout performance. As we get into point number 3, the offensive breakout of the one and only, the guy who I talked about back in September saying we got to get this guy the ball more. We got to target him more. And it finally happens. Mike Gesicki breaking it out with 6 catches, 95 yards. I believe he caught all 6. His targets were at 6. I think every target he caught. 6 catches, 95 yards. Big plays down the field. Looking like a wide receiver out there. Caught a couple of them. Just down the field. Fitzpatrick hitting them in stride. We want to see more of that. Please, can we please see more of that? Really good to see. And for point 3, when I say offensive breakout, when you look at the total numbers, it was a little bit of an improvement. We certainly threw the ball as Fitzpatrick did. Our team in the passing game looked a lot better, but it just was different today. There were more just aggressive throws, attacking the defense. Preston Williams, 5 catches, 72 yards, and the big 2 touchdowns. Devante Parker also contributed 4 catches, 57 yards. He's always a threat. He had that one drop. You're going to get that every now and then, but he's a threat. Devante is a good receiver. Glad that we have him. Jakeem Grant had 3 catches, 33 yards. Allen Hurns, 2 catches, 16 yards. Would like to see us perhaps maybe get Hurns a little bit more involved, but you can only get so many people involved. I understand. Not everyone can have 5 and 6 catches. I get it. I like Hurns though as a receiver. Walton caught a couple passes off the bench, I should say, out of the backfield. He caught 3 for 12 yards. So we're going to use him. He's not a bad receiver at all out of the backfield. So the offense just looked so much better. Running game, it was so-so. It really wasn't so-so, actually. It wasn't that good. We really didn't open up many holes for the runner. For mainly Walton, he really didn't have. He had one really nice game, but he didn't have much room at all, to run the football. Okay, but throwing the ball, we were great. And takes us to point number 4, guys, on the snippets board. Defense versus the Jets. I'm going to say this. First quarter, no. They were moving the ball right down the field on us. We got caught off guard there a couple times. But then the defense settles in. 2 of their points, remember, came on that safety, which happened right before the half. And I was sitting there going, oh, no, it's starting. It's starting again. Here we go. Here comes the big collapse. The collapse we see every week. Where was that out of control safety? I don't know what Fitz was doing there. He kind of gets the snap and he's close on the goal line. And technically, there was a little bit of a fumble, though. It's not like he had a clean, handle of the ball. And then it almost looked like an unforced safety before the half. Luckily, we were able to overcome that. So the defense technically allowed 16 points. After that first quarter, I thought we played fine. We did pretty good. Darnold for the Jets. I gotta tell you guys, we benefited from what I viewed as a serious concern with him, his lack of awareness, I would put it. There were a couple of plays there, guys, where we had a sack that came right off the edge, and he didn't see it coming at all. It wasn't even his blind side. It was it was coming right from his view. Of course, it happened like that. It happened in a split second. But and that was like really deep in their territory. I believe it was around the 5 yard line, maybe even inside the 5. It was real deep in the territory. So we benefited from not only that play, of course, the other play where he's back in the shotgun and he wasn't prepared for the snap. The ball goes into the end zone. Almost was a touchdown for us, but it goes out of the end zone and then we get a safety. Whew. So I don't know. I would call it lack of awareness. I'm not sure if Darnold just isn't comfortable in that offense at this time. I know he's in his second year. He threw for 260 yards. I mean, you look at his statistics, not that bad. He had a touchdown, interception. He himself was sacked 3 times. But just if you take those 2 key plays, he's making, in part, maybe at least on that sack, we kind of had something to do with that too on defense. But he's making some negative plays out there, and he did today. So that really did help the Miami Dolphins today. As we move towards the victory. Le'Veon Bell for the Jets, he is still a really good player, guys. We held him, I would like to say that we held him in check, but he was still very effective. He ran the ball 17 times, 66 yards, also caught 8 catches or 8 balls for 55 yards. So you look at 66 yards running, 55 yards receiving, you're well over 100 there. You're over 120 actually. And he's a good player. He's just a good receiver. He's a good runner. Le'Veon Bell is a really good pickup for them. Crowder had a nice game for the Jets, 8 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. A lot of his damage, though, was in the first quarter. He did it really good in the first quarter. And then after that, I'm thinking maybe we made some sort of an adjustment. Something happened there. But he was definitely held in check. He got really quiet after that first quarter. Still played a pretty nice game. Ryan Griffin for the Jets had 50 yards receiving on 6 catches. He also played well for the Jets. But the defense, again, was solid. It was good enough to win us the game. I know we have some guys on that on the defensive side of the ball that really are going to benefit from this win because we have a few with not much experience at all. And it was great to see this, guys. It was really good to see this. All right, so Dolphins get the win. We did it. Doesn't matter how we did it. We did it, guys. Few final thoughts as we look ahead to our next game and our next opponent, which is the Indianapolis Colts. We will be playing that game on the road in Indianapolis. First of all, let's cover a few quick things. The word that I haven't brought up in any of the videos that I would just like to bring up now, and we can just put it to rest. This whole thing about tanking, not trying to win, trying to get the top pick. Okay, can we please put that to rest? You want to talk about that with other teams? Go right ahead. I'm not going to even name the other teams. You want to go talk about them? Go right ahead. Can we just please put that to rest for a little while? For just a small amount of time with the Miami Dolphins, okay? We went out, we tried our best, just like we did against Pittsburgh last week. We tried to win that game. Pittsburgh played better than we are. They deserved to win that game last week on Monday Night Football. We came out today. We made the adjustments. I think that's key too. We made some adjustments. We got the victory. That's all that needs to be said. Let's not talk about who's tanking, who's getting who. It gives me a headache, guys. It gives me a headache. Especially like when I think of, okay, like the top 3, 4, 5 guys coming out of college. I mean, is there a guarantee on this that they're going to play? Of course there's not. That whoever we draft is going to be like a superstar or whatever. There's always a risk there. So happy to see this. One other side note, Preston Williams, first he hurt his wrist back in the third quarter, then he hurts his knee in the fourth quarter, left on the cart there in the fourth quarter. I do not, game just ended not too long ago. I do not have an update on his status. We certainly hope that Mr. Williams, first of all, is okay, most importantly, And then as far as his availability and how all that other stuff's going to work out, time will tell, and we will stay, most certainly, we will stay very, very, very close to this story. All of us as fans. I don't just mean myself. As fans, we will follow this one closely, and we can only wish the best for Mr. Preston Williams. Okay, next week, as I had mentioned briefly, we're at the Colts. This is a good team, guys. So yeah, we got the win, but now we got to get ready to play a good team. Speaking of injuries, I know their quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, he had left that game. Not sure if he ever returned. I'm going to say I don't think he did. I don't know anything yet, as of yet, of his injury or status or how that's going to work for next week. All I can say right now is that we are playing at Indianapolis, and they are fighting for the playoffs. They are fighting for a playoff position. They've earned it. They have a pretty good record, so this is going to be a tough game. Okay? It's going to be a tough game next week. Let's celebrate this now. We're celebrating it now. We're going to enjoy it all week. Let's enjoy this all week till next Sunday, and then we go up against the Colts. Of course, we're not going to be expected to win, but you know what? We build on it. We play our best. You never know what's going to happen. We go in there. We play our best. We just see what happens. So, guys, once again, this is Dennis Sullivan, Sports Snippets. If you like the content in this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to recapping our next game against the Colts. And I liked what I saw. We finally did it. We finally got a win. I can't believe it. We finally got a win. That's it, guys. Until next time, this is Dennis Sullivan saying I'll see you, yes, you, next time. And bye for now. Over and out.